One of the witnesses from the Monterey Hotel saw a suspect vehicle, which was a red RAV4, leave with the suspect that had just robbed them, getting inside and leave the area. Officer J.A. Ledyard, ID number 76081, saw that suspect vehicle in the 1000 block of Line Street and immediately conducted a traffic stop. When he stopped the vehicle, he gave loud verbal commands for the suspect to exit the vehicle, and a passenger got outside of the vehicle with his hands up. As soon as he turned his attention back to the suspect fired several shots at Officer Ledyard. Officer Ledyard returned fire several times from his duty weapon, and that suspect vehicle at that point fled the scene west on Line Street. The suspect was later caught in the 1300 block of Pickettville Road, hiding in a dumpster. A firearm was recovered at the scene. Officer Ledyard was placed on administrative leave per JSO policy. No officers were injured in this incident. The state attorney's office is here to conduct their own investigation, and charges are pending on the suspect. The passenger was injured and transported to a local hospital in critical but stable condition. He's currently in surgery at a local hospital. And with that, I'll answer any questions that I can.
So the officer we had heard initially, sir, was injured with minor injuries. Was he not hit at all by gunfire?
He was not struck by gunfire, no.
Not injured at all?
He had minor scrapes and stuff like that. But
so the timeline on this, there was one robbery over on Edgewood, then a second robbery 10 minutes later. Just so I got my facts straight, the officer that was involved in this skirmish with the suspect spotted the vehicle, pulled it over, and then that's when this all began.
He was actually not a skirmish. He was shot at several times. His vehicle was struck approximately 5 to 6 times. But yes, it was about 20 minutes later. He spotted the vehicle, conducted a traffic stop. The vehicle did stop, but fired shots at him.
And the passenger was shot in the process?
The passenger was injured. We're still working through the investigation to find out what happened to him.
But the suspect has no injuries?
Suspect has no injuries. He has been taken into custody safely, and we're conducting interviews for the rest of our investigation now.
And when was the first robbery?
The first robbery again was at 1:45 p.m. this afternoon.
Okay.
10 minutes later, which is 1:55, the second robbery took place.
And both males, do you have age description on the...
Both males, one Hispanic male, one black male, and there was also a white female in the vehicle. We're going to withhold their identification right now while the investigation is still early. We have some things that we need to process before we do that.
And all the shots where we see the markers are located?
That's correct.
And the officer's vehicle, you said, was shot at several times?
The officer's vehicle, the officer and his vehicle was shot at several times. The vehicle was struck up 5 to 6 times.
All right, thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you were listening to TK Waters with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. Give us an update, and John and I will just walk you through that if you missed any of that. There were 2 robberies back-to-back, one at a check cashing place and one at a hotel. And then an officer spotted that suspect vehicle, made a traffic stop, and then that's when the shooting happened.
So TK spelling it out for us. Basically, a passenger in that red car that the witnesses said they saw leaving the scene of one of those robberies got out with their hands up. And that's when, according to police, the suspect in that car started shooting at the officer, who then exchanged gunfire with the suspect. Police are not saying that passenger who was hurt, and critically hurt, by the way, was shot or not. They're still trying to work through that, how that person was hurt. Yeah, and that's where we are right now.
I see Danny Bozzini getting in front of the camera. Blake, are we going to go to Danny? Okay, we're going to keep going. Danny Bozzini is kind of turning some of this information around for us, and we're going to have an update with her live at 6. So we're going to keep it moving right now. But again, continue to follow that officer-involved shooting.
Should be noted, too, that the officer has minor injuries.